Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Buenas tardes from my Hispanic people out there. Welcome to the Think Big podcast with these amazing four people in here. We have Sam Singh, we have Marlon, Mindset Marlon, Daryl Ellison, and myself, Alejandro Alvarez. Thank you guys for joining in. And today we're going to go over underwriting some deals. What do you got for us today, Mr. Sam?
Man, underwriting deals is probably, I don't know if it's the most important thing, but it's definitely one of the most important things out there.
Oh my God.
And to be honest with you, I think it's one of the things that most new investors they struggle with in the beginning, right? It's like they know how to go and talk to sellers, maybe they know how to pick up the phone and start dialing, like we always say. But man, now they got a lead. Guess what? Now you got to underwrite to figure out if it's a deal, and that can be really tricky. So I think today's going to be an amazing episode all about how people can get really freaking good at underwriting. Let's make it approachable. Let's make it easy to understand. And most importantly, let's kind of go over how we as buyers, as established investors, underwrite our own deals. Daryl, what do you think about that, man?
Bro, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about this because it's super important to understand whether you're wholesaling or buying deals yourself, how the numbers actually work, right? So you can't if you're a wholesaler and you're not thinking. I actually had somebody on my team today, right? It's crazy that we're talking about this. We're having a conversation and I'm underwriting the deal as if I'm the buyer, even though I'm going to wholesale it, right? He's like, are you buying this or wholesaling this? Like, why are you being so conservative? And I'm like, bro, I'm putting myself in the buyer's shoes. If it doesn't work for me, it's probably not going to work for somebody else, right? So you need to think about the buyer, right? You need to think about the buyer. So you got to understand how to run your numbers. Marlon, I know you feel super strong about this subject, bro. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, man. So I'm big on this because ultimately what starts to happen is a lot of times we just don't understand what our buyer is doing on the back end. And the reason we don't understand what the buyer is doing on the back end is because there's a link missing. And this is where I want to ultimately fill in the gap. See, a lot of times most of the wholesalers they haven't quite understood the concept of an ROI because simply they're just getting cash at the end of the day. They're getting an assignment fee and they don't realize that the person who's purchasing the property is going to be one of two things. It's going to be a fix and flip or it's going to be a buy and hold investor. Now, let's be honest, let's look at what's happening in the market. Fixing and flipping, this is not the time in the market cycle to do fix and flips. We're exiting a peak market cycle. So unless you're buying properties for 20 and 30 and 40 cents on the dollar, you're not really going to be flipping right now. So more of the investors who are steadily buying are buying for cash flow. They're buying to hold the property, whether they're buying it cash or they're buying it creatively, they're buying to hold. So I today want to go over basically understanding the ROI side of things and understanding leverage. Because when this clicked to me, I got to be honest, the reason I'm so passionate about this is because when this clicked for me, this was when my entire business model changed overnight. I went from wholesaling to buying property, to holding property, and becoming a true real estate investor. So, what I want to do tonight is I want to break
Marlon,
this down.
real quick, brother, because you gotta walk me through this, man. You've said it a couple times now. What is ROI?
Great question, Sam. So I'm going to be using a lot of abbreviation. However, I'm going to say it out loud so everyone knows. ROI stands for return on investment. So return on investment. And I want to show people how you can actually get a larger return on your investment by being in the real estate industry. Real estate is such a special industry because it allows you to do something called leverage. It's the one of the few places I don't really know many other industries that allow you to control something that's going to be 10 times, 20 times the amount of money you put into it. I can control 20 times the value of my dollar by putting it into real estate and using leverage, using debt, using JV partners, using OPM, other people's money. And tonight, I'm going to break it down and I'm going to start to show you what that looks like. And we're going to start off I'm talking super simple, super basics. So if you are sitting at home right now, I want you to actually pull out a fresh sheet of paper. If you're driving, pull over, go stop at a Starbucks, pull out your notepad, get a fresh sheet of paper because we are going to share the ROI side of things. So let me see. Daryl, is it possible for me to share my screen?
It is very possible,
All right,
brother.
let me see. Let me see. All right, cool. So it looks like I could share screen too. I could share my tabs. Oh, beautiful. Tell me if you can see this. Can everyone see this big blank empty spreadsheet?
Beautiful.
Let's go. Excel sheets.
Excel sheets for the win. All right, y'all. So for my people that don't like math, I promise you this is going to be at a 4th grade level. If it gets higher than a 4th grade level, you let me know. So
That's too high, man. That's too high for me. I can't do that. Can't do it.
Damn, you're way too smart for a 4th grade level, bro. So let's imagine for a second we've got a property that we can purchase, right? Let's say it's Christmas time, your grandma, right? You got these 2 grandmas, and grandma number 1, she just gave you $100,000. She said, baby boy, this is your inheritance, and I want you to take this $100,000. And listen, grandma's real smart. She says, I want you to go and invest in real estate, right? Real estate's such a good investment. Grandma's smart, yo. So she says, go and buy yourself a rental property. So you listen to grandma, you go out to the Midwest, and you go and you find one of these houses that you can buy for $100,000. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say PP, which is purchase price, is going to be $100,000. I'm even going to put the little $100,000 right there, right? And grandma, yo, she's been listening to Bigger Pockets. So when she said you're going to go get one of these $100,000 houses, she said, baby boy, you're going to follow the 1% rule. Baby boy, I need you to follow the 1% rule. And the 1% rule is a rule of thumb that a lot of investors use in the industry. And it basically says that all you're going to do is you're going to look for a property that you can rent out for 1% of what you purchase it for each month. So if I'm purchasing a property for $100,000, 1% of $100,000 is $1,000. So I'm going to say over here that I can rent the property out for $1,000. Hopefully everybody's following me here. Now, I go and I buy this sucker cash. I take all the $100,000 that grandma hands me. I go and I buy this property. I got it free and clear. I don't have a mortgage on it, right? Because I'm smart. Grandma told me to go buy it. I'm renting it out for $1,000. Now, although I don't have a mortgage on it, I still have basic things like taxes and insurance on the property and little things like expenses to maintain the property. So let's just say I have monthly operating expenses. So I'm going to call it MO, monthly operating expenses of $400. Guys, this is the Midwest. I'm using basic numbers for an example. So if anyone's going to say, Marlon, you can never get something for $400 a monthly expense, or Marlon, in my neighborhood, it's way cheaper. We're just using numbers as an example. So I'm renting it out for $1,000. And every month it's costing me $400 in taxes, insurance, and little maintenance here and there. So Daryl, if this is my numbers, how much money do I get to keep at the end of the month?
Shoot, I'm muted. My bad. I said it looks like a trick question, bro. $600. That's what it's saying.
$600. Yo, you're absolutely correct. Right? Yo, grandma hooked it up. I went and bought this house. So essentially, I'm collecting for my monthly positive cash flow. So MPCF, monthly positive cash flow. I'm pulling in $600 over my hard cost. So if I take this number 600 and I multiply it by 12, it's going to show me how much I collect yearly. So my yearly positive cash flow. Let's go ahead. I'm going to pull out my cell phone right now. I'm going to do this really quick. Let's see. And guys, I'm not good at math, so I'm just going to use my calculator. 600 times 12 shows me if I went and bought this property, I'll be making approximately $7,200 annually. Now, cool. What's my ROI? What's my return on investment? And this is going to be a pretty interesting thing. I want to figure out what's the percentage I'm making on my money here. I bought the house for $100,000, so I spent $100,000. And every year I'm making $7,200. So all that's going to happen is I'm going to take this number, $7,200, and I'm going to divide it by $100,000. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to pull out my calculator and do that again. 7,200 divided by 100,000. This is going to give me a number, right? Divided by 100,000. This is going to equal 0.072. So check this out. If I want to get this as a percentage, I need to multiply 0.072 by 100, which is going to give me 7.2%. So if I listen to my grandma and I went and I bought this property for $100,000 with pure cash, and it's renting out at the 1% rule, $1,000, and I'm making, after my expenses, $7,200 a year, I'm getting a 7.2% return on my money. Now, some people might say, yo, Marlon, that's a pretty cool return for me. That's a pretty nice ROI. But honestly, I'm not impressed by that ROI. I'm not. I would not do this deal. There are people out there who would go and do this deal, but that's because they do not understand leverage at a higher level. So let's show them leverage at a higher level, right? Let's show them what it can look like to make a better return by sharing the wealth, right? As an investor, I want to share the wealth. So I'm going to go and I'm going to do something. I got a second grandma, you see, and my second grandma, because sometimes grandmas, they get a little competitive, right? They want to, they want to fight for your love. So my other grandma, she's like, oh, yo, that your mom's mom gave you 100,000. Hey, look, I'm going to give you 100,000. And baby boy, I want you to go buy a property. However, I want you to go and get some debt on this property. Now, all my Dave Ramsey lovers, like I heard your butt cheeks come squeezing together just now. I heard it happen, right? But I need y'all to relax. I'm going to show you something. So we're going to hold off on this example for a second. What I'm going to do is let's draw a line across the bottom, right? Let's separate this. So look at this now. What we're going to do is we're going to take the same property. So we're going to have a purchase price of $100,000. And we're going to get the same rent, right? So I'm going to rent it out at the same 1%, $1,000. The only difference now is my other grandma, she told me to go and get a mortgage. So I'm going to get a mortgage on this property. I'm going to bring 20% down, right? So I'm thinking like an investor. I'm going to go get a mortgage. I'm going to bring 20% down. They're going to give me $80,000. So the bank or whomever is going to give me $80,000. I got to come up with a down payment of $20,000. Right? So I'm coming in with $20,000 of that $100,000 grandma gave me. I'm spending $20,000 to go and get this mortgage. Now let's look over here. I've still got the same monthly operating expense of $400 per month. But now, because I have a mortgage on this property, I got to make mortgage payments, right? I've got to pay my principal and my interest. So let's say my principal and my interest on this, my mortgage payment, is going to be, and again, I'm making up numbers here for the sake of this example. Let's say it's going to be $200. And I promise y'all, we're going to show you some real deals and some real numbers in a little bit. But I need you to understand this concept. So I've got my property, I'm renting it out. I got my monthly operating expense of $400. I got my mortgage payment of $200. So how much am I keeping? Yo, Daryl, can you hook me up again? How much am I keeping at the end of the month if I got to pay $400 for the monthly operating expense and $200 for the mortgage?
That would be a whopping $400, sir.
So I'm keeping $400 as my monthly positive cash flow. So if we multiply this number by 12, if we take that 400 and multiply it by 12, my yearly positive cash flow is going to be what? Let's pull out the calculator. Do it right now. 400 times 12. That gives me $4,800. I'm going to keep a whopping $4,800. Now, some people are already looking and saying, wait, Marlon, up here, you were keeping $7,200 a year. Now you're only keeping $4,800. You're making less money, right? Now, I'm making less money, but this is where you got to start thinking like an investor. Am I making less money or am I making a greater return? Let's go ahead and look. If I'm making $4,800 a year, in order to get my return, I've got to divide this by the amount of money I put into the deal. So, Alejandro, how much money did I put into this deal? I lose my man Alejandro.
20,000. 20,000. Sorry, I was muted.
Oh, there we go. So Alejandro says I put 20,000 into this deal. So he's absolutely correct. So I'm going to take that 4,800. I'm going to divide it by the money I put into the deal, which is 20,000. So let's divide it. And that's going to give me a 0.24. So if I take 0.24 and I multiply that by 100, that's going to show me a 24% ROI. So simply because I chose to get debt on this property and because I changed the way of how I purchased the property, my ROI actually increased. I got 24% instead of 7.2%. And funny enough, y'all, I still wouldn't even do the deal like this, right? Although I'm getting a 24% ROI, personally, I still wouldn't even do this deal because there's an even better way to do this deal, right? So Sam, Alejandro, Daryl, is it cool if I showed him one more way? If I showed him one more way to do this deal even better and show him how real investors think?
Yes.
Bro, you better show them another way.
Please do.
All right, bet. Because I want y'all to think about that show Shark Tank, right? There's a show called Shark Tank. Many people have seen it, hopefully. And there's always this dude. He sits in the middle. He's the bald guy. I think some people call him Mr. Wonderful. Right? There's Mr. Wonderful. And what does he always say? He'll say, look, I like your idea. I like your product. Hey, look, you got chutzpah, kid. But I will not send my money out to die. Right? What does he mean when he says that? I won't send my money out to die. What he's saying is the ROI, although the product is good, the ROI isn't high enough. It's not strong enough because I need a strong enough ROI so I can make my money back sooner. So I'm going to show you all about the velocity of money. But first, let me show you how to get an even higher ROI on this deal. And let me show you how real investors look at being able to leverage, being able to control 5, 10, 20 times the amount of money they have, control assets 20 times more than the amount of money they put into it. So let's go ahead and section this off, right? And if y'all are learning something right now, if you're learning something new, go ahead and drop a fire emoji in the chat if you're on YouTube. If you're hanging out with us on YouTube, go ahead and drop some fire in the chat. All right, so we're going to take the same house, same purchase price, $100,000. Now, you don't got a third grandma or nothing like that, but what happened here was you just came and you talked to me or you talked to Alejandro or you talked to Sam or Daryl, and we showed you a better way to do things. So you're still like, look, I'm listening to Bigger Pockets. They told me to go get that 1% rule on the rent. So I can rent the property out for $1,000, right? We're in the same area, right? And go ahead, you're going to go get a mortgage on this property. So the mortgage is going to come in with that same $80,000, right? And now that down payment, before you took grandma's money and you came out of pocket $20K, you came out of pocket $20,000 for that down payment. But what if you had a friend in your life who you talked to and you said, hey, look, are you interested in investing in some real estate? But look, check it out. You'll never have to talk to a tenant. You're never going to have to fix a toilet, and your money is going to be backed by real property. Would you be interested in listening to what I have to say? They say, yeah, of course, man. It's like, all right, look, I need to raise $15,000. And for that, I know you've been getting 7% in the stock market recently before it started going down. How about I give you a 10% return on your money? Right? Because these are some of the returns I offer my investors. I offer them a 10% return on certain deals. So how about I give you a 10% return on your $15,000? They say, heck yeah, man. I had this money and I was actually worried it was sitting around doing nothing. So I go ahead and I get a JV partner. So that JVP is going to stand for JV partner. They're going to bring $15,000 to the deal. So I still need another $5,000 for the down payment. So my portion of the down payment is going to be $5,000. So that we can fund this mortgage. Now, let's look at what we got over here. We got a monthly operating expense. And keep in mind, remember this guy's going to be at 10%. Right? We're borrowing this money at 10%. So keep this in mind. We got our monthly operating expense over here, same $400. We got our mortgage over here, same $200. But now I got to pay my JV partner. So if I'm looking at paying my JV partner and I got to pay him 10%, let's take a look at what that is. If I pull out my calculator and I do 15,000 times 0.1, right? This is how we times it by 10%. So 15,000 by 10%, or if you're doing it on the calculator, you're going to do 15,000 times 1, that's going to give me $1,500 is what I owe this person every single year. Now, I'm going to ask my JV partner, hey, is it okay if I just pay you monthly? Right? Who doesn't want to get paid every single month? They're going to say, duh. So he's going to let me pay him every single month. So I'm going to divide that by 12. And it looks like I owe my JV partner every single month. I've got to pay him $125. So now let's do the math. Let's figure out what my monthly positive cash flow is going to be. So if I do $1,000 minus 400 minus 200 and minus 125, somebody want to give me what that number is?
What's that, like 275?
Yo, you were spot on, bro. Did you do that in your head? I'm not even looking at you right
in my head, bro. Come on, man.
Come on, let's go, man.
Human calculator, dog.
He's a human calculator. So 275 is how much I'm collecting a month from this property. Now, I want to figure out what I'm getting annually because we calculate ROIs and things of that nature in annual. So what my yearly positive cash flow is going to end up being is $3,330 or $3,300. $3,300. Now, let's take a look at what my ROI is going to be. I'm going to take how much money I'm making each year, right? I'm going to divide it by my entry. So how much money did I put into this deal?
$5,000.
$5,000.
Wow.
So I put $5,000 into this deal. Now let's see what that number looks like. Woo! That gives me 0.66, which puts my ROI at a 66% ROI. Now, not only does it put me at a 66% ROI, which is way better than my 24 and hell of a lot better than my 7.2% ROI, what does it also allow me to do? How much money, when grandma gave me that $100,000, if I only spent 5,000 of it, how many more times could I go and do this deal?
Bro. Man.
Like,
About 12 times.
I could do this deal 20 more times, y'all. So real estate allows me to control 20 times the asset. Creative financing, because that's what this is. This is like the most elementary version of creative financing. Because I'm using OPM as the bank, I'm using OPM with a JV partner, and because I'm leveraging, because I'm using leverage, and it's imperative that you understand this. It's imperative that you understand leverage. I'm using it at a higher level. I can go out and do these deals. Now, to be honest, some of you are looking at 66% and you're like, yo, sign me up, baby. Now, I do one even better, right? Like I know like my brother's on this screen, like we still wouldn't do this deal because there's an even better way to do the deal. There's an even better way to do it. So, let me just ask, is it possible, right? I'm not even going to show the example, right? But y'all that are watching, do you think now it's possible that instead of finding a JV partner that wants to come in at 15,000, maybe I find a JV partner that wants to fund the entire down payment? And if they want to fund the entire down payment, the entire $20,000, how much money do I need to come to the table with?
Zero.
Right? Not a dollar.
Big fat O.
So if I'm putting no money into the deal, if I'm putting nothing into the deal, what's my ROI?
Infinity.
It's infinite. Y'all try and divide anything. Try and divide zero by anything on your iPhone. Right? All you're going to get, watch, I'll show y'all what you'll get. You guys get this. You get this message. You see that? Yo, even Steve Jobs can get this one right. Our ROI is infinite. Our ROI is infinite. So when we start learning about ROIs and we start learning about leverage, it's important that you understand this because when you're selling a deal to your other investors, a lot of the other investors out there, they don't understand leverage and they don't understand ROIs at the highest level. So they are more than happy getting your 7.2% returns, right? Because how many investors do we know that have gone out and purchased properties cash? It's because they said, Dave Ramsey told me I want to pay off the property. Dave Ramsey told me I want to own it free and clear, that I don't want any debt. Right. And then some people say, well, look, I got a good job and I got the money for a down payment and I want to get into real estate. I want to dabble. And you show them that they can get a 24% return. They're like, 24% return? Are you kidding me? Sign me up. Give me 4 of these bad boys. Whoa. Right. And that's where their minds are at. And then some people are a little bit smarter than that. And they said, whoa, wait a second. I understand ROIs. I understand how to leverage. I can go and raise some private capital for this. I can go and get into this deal. I don't even need to come up with the initial entry fee. I just need to know how to structure the deal. I need to know what I'm looking for. Because when you understand the ROI, who feels like they would have trouble raising money if they can go and competently show an investor, show a private money lender how they can get them a 66% return on their investment, how they can get them a 10% return on their money that's sitting around doing nothing in a safe investment. Understanding this gives you options. This is what I wish I understood at the very beginning, because when this clicked, I started buying all the deals I was selling beforehand. Now, you're still going to have to go through a place of selling deals. It took me selling this to other investors and seeing and watching what they were doing with the properties to make sense of it in my mind. And this is why I'm having this conversation right now for you guys. I want you to be able to look at the people who are buying your deals, and I want you to be able to understand your customer in a better light. I want you to understand what they're looking at, what we as investors are looking at when we're purchasing properties. I want to know, what's my ROI going to be? So this was the most basic way I know on how to break down an ROI. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen here, and I want to bring it back to my bros. Like, so I know, guys, we did math and that's kind of like taboo. We're not supposed to talk about the boring stuff, but I wanted to talk about that because I wanted to help people tonight.
Well, math isn't boring at all, bro. I may have missed it though. Do you factor your repairs in there at all?
Yep. So that's going to be with the monthly operating expense. So now I'm glad you said that, Daryl. This was for an example on explaining now the basics of ROI, right? We used very, very basic numbers. Like, someone's probably watching this like, but Marlon, where was the closing cost? Where was the holding cost? Where was the advertising cost? There's a lot more costs that we did not show. And what we'll probably end up doing is we'll probably end up busting out some HUD statements, right? And actually walking people through and showing them some of these bad boys and showing them that numbers that you guys paid $30,000, $40,000 for a mentorship that you don't see, that you'll get for free here on YouTube.
You know, I gotta, 100%. If we start busting out HUD statements, I think not every other, but most every other podcast in this game are just gonna have to stop doing what they're doing. But Marlon, I want to highlight this, right? A few weeks ago, we talked about the importance of going directly to your key buyers, right? Like, every market, you're going to have 3, 4, 5 super high performing buyers. And what you want to do is create a relationship with them. Guys, if you're wholesalers, you're like, I don't want to be a buyer. I don't really care. I don't want to own property. Why do I care about ROI? If you learn to underwrite the way that your buyers underwrite and you do all of that grunt work for them, they're still going to do their due diligence. But guess what ends up happening? They end up loving you that much more. And they know that any deal that you bring to them is automatically going to fit, what their criteria are. And so, like, Marlon, you buy a lot, I buy a lot. Let me ask you, are there wholesalers who have consistently not respected the feedback that you've given them, right? They're maybe not bringing you stuff that's in your buy box, or maybe you already told them, hey, like, I need to be at this cash on cash. I need to be at this ROI. And they keep blatantly sending you stuff that doesn't fit that. Once that happens, do you even open their emails anymore?
Sam, it's so funny you say that. And I'm not going to say, I almost said someone's name, like, out of a knee-jerk reaction. And the answer is yes. There are wholesalers who I have blocked their email at this point. I just don't even open it. It comes into my inbox and I just click archive. And the reason I click archive is, some of you might be wondering, hey, why don't you just delete them or unsubscribe from them? One, they've sent enough bad deals that I'm just like, you're just not paying attention. Like, I've tried to help you. You're just not paying attention. Now what I do is I'm going to be honest with everyone. I wait until I see that same property pop up in my inbox for a third time, a fourth time, 4 months later, 5 months later. And I now know, listen, you can either go back and renegotiate it and still be a part of this deal, or I know that seller's fed up with you and someone else is going to pick it up. And now I have more knowledge on the property. But to answer your question, Sam, when they don't listen, because I don't care how much money they make. I will let you make your money. I just need to be able to run my business as well as right. I have to be able to run my business. The numbers have to work for the end buyer. And I'm telling you, I'm not a greedy end buyer. I run pretty conservative numbers. I live in a place where I'm not trying to hit home runs all day. I'm hitting I'm base hits, base hits, base hits. You're looking at somebody that believes in the philosophy of sowing and reaping and the tortoise ultimately winning the race. So I'm all about just building, building, building because 10 years from now, I'm going to be grateful for the work that I put in today.
Love it. And this, and if I may, this also will protect you when you negotiating with your buyers, because if you don't know what an ROI is or what your buyer is looking for, and you don't know what that looks like, then he has all the power to negotiate with you because you lack the knowledge on what exactly is a good deal. Once you know what a good deal looks like, then you have that confidence, you have that knowledge behind you. Like, yo, don't try to lowball me. This is a good deal. And you have to know what an ROI is. You have to know what your buyer is looking for so you can have that power when it comes to negotiating.
And Alejandro just hit the nail on the head for something, which is, we talk about a lot of people, throw some shade at like things like real estate agents. Some people throw some shade at like real estate agents, like, man, they don't do anything besides list it on the MLS and just walk away and let it sell itself, right? But we all know that there are great agents out there who actually sell homes. There are great wholesalers out there who actually sell deals. I love it when a wholesaler comes to me and says, yo, Marlon, look, I got this property here, and here are some exit strategies you can look at doing. Like, I know you're going to do your own thing, but I like when they present to me some options, right? When they come to me and I can see like, okay, you really are looking out for my best interest as well. You're doing this with the thought process of let's do more deals together. Right? Because if I take care of you as my buyer, you're going to come back to me for more deals. In the future, I'm not going to be stressed out trying to get rid of a contract because I already know as long as your business is doing well, you're going to want to buy more deals. So we need each other. I need wholesalers as much as wholesalers need buyers. We need each other. And treating each other like treating each other like you're aware of that and like you care about that, it's a game changer. So take the time to understand the ROI side of things. Now, we have an advantage, and this is a beautiful thing for anyone wholesaling right now. You have an advantage starting where you're at. Because as buyers, because we all know what it's like, Daryl, Sam, Alejandro, we all know what it's like to wholesale in this business. We can now talk to our wholesalers differently. We can help them out in a way that they need it. I can understand and I can say, look, I know you've got to make money. You've got marketing. You've got a team to feed. You probably have been following up with this person for 4 months. When I start having that conversation, I'm creating a relationship. I'm creating a friend. And when I come to my friend and I say, look, I get you've been working on this deal for a long time. And I want to show you from my side, I've got to be able to make at least, a 22% ROI. Yeah, no, that makes sense, Marlon. I get it. And guys, is it cool if I share one thing with them on why that ROI matters so much? Can I show them something? Can I show them the rule of 72? Do y'all know about this?
Ooh, that rule is fire.
The rule of 72. So let me show this to y'all. Let's go back into the spreadsheet for a second. All right, let's open this up. So the rule of 72 is a pretty interesting rule. They call this the money doubling rule. Now, the money doubling rule. So let's go ahead and write it up here. The rule of 72. And guys, this rule came up from, ancient mathematicians, like some Italian mathematicians, hundreds of years ago. If you really are super curious in the history of it, there's this website you could go check out. It's google.com, google.com, and you hit it up. They will tell you the history of all of this. Now, I don't really care as much about the history as I care about understanding this principle. The rule of 72 states that if I take a number and I divide that number, if I take 72 and I divide it by the interest rate, it will show me how many years it will take for my money to double. It's going to show me how long it will take for my money to double. So let's say I'm a old school Dave Ramsey follower, and he said, you get your money, you squeeze it tight, and you go and you put it in the bank, but not just any regular bank or bank account. You go and you put it in a CD, right? How many people have CDs today, right? CD stands for Certificate of Depreciation. Certificate of Deposit. It's a certificate of deposit, all right? So you're probably getting a whopping 1% return on your CD. So let's say I have 72 and I divide it by that 1%. What would that give me? Well, damn, that gives me 72 years. It would take 72 years for my money to double if I put it into a CD.
Ew.
Now, I see we got some cool people on here. We got Hunter, we got Karen, we got Paulina. Hunter's pretty young. I think Hunter's like in her 20s. Hunter, do you want to wait until you're in your 90s for your money to double? Right? Like, that's what a CD will do for you. Right? But you know what? Forget it. You're a savvy investor. Grandma gave you money. You figured out you could go get this 7.2% return. So let's go see over here what happens if you just went and bought your property straight up cash. You go and you take it, and you're going to take 72. We're going to divide it by 7.2. And that's telling me that it will take 10 years for my money to double. So if you went and bought this property cash and praying that nothing ever happened to the property, you never had to worry about any additional expenses, it will take you 10 years at this rate of return to double your money. Yeah. So maybe some people are like, yo, that works for me. I'll double my money in 10 years. I do not want to send my money out to die. 10 years is way too long. I'm sending my money out to die. I want my money to come back soon, and I want it to come back with friends. Paulina says, hell no. So let's look at over here. Let's say you got a little bit savvier, right? You were listening to us. You understood leverage. You still weren't ready to jump off the deep end. You still wanted to do everything by yourself, right? You didn't want to bring a partner in. So you just went to the bank and you got good credit. So you went ahead and put 20% down. You get a 24% return. Let's see what the money doubling rule says about how long it's going to take your money to come back to you. So let's go ahead and do 72 divided by 24. All right. So approximately 3 years for your money to come back to you. All right. Not as bad. When we're looking at comparison to 72 years or 10 years, 3 years, still not as bad. However, there's a better way. Right? There's a better way. So we still have this right here, the 66% return ROI. So let's look at what a 66% return. How long is it going to take my money to come back to me? Approximately 1.09. So about 1.1 years for my money to come back to me. And this, my friends, is when we start to understand ROI and leverage. So I'm looking at this like, hey, I could put my money into a deal, and by the end of the year, I will double my money. And guys, again, 66%, there are ways of getting higher returns. However, what starts to happen is if this is new to you and I start showing you how to get a 125% return, a 500% return, 1,000% return, you start to think I'm lying. Right? It starts to melt brains way too quickly. If I start to show you how to get an infinite return where you're literally printing money out of thin air, you don't believe me. So we like to keep it basic. We like to start off with things that, if you go to dinner, right? If you go to your average individual and you tell them, hey, I can show you how to get a 66% return ROI. They're going to ask you, are you doing something illegal? This is why our private money lenders, when we talk to them, we have to offer them things that they can wrap their mind around. As the investor being able to structure these deals, we can start to show them even larger returns. But most importantly, just recognize and understand as an investor, my goal is to protect my money. The longer my money is away from home, the harder it is to protect. So I want to bring my money home faster. All right. Fast money is smart money. Slow money is scared money. So I'm going to stop sharing here again.
Bro, right before you
folks.
Real quick, right before you got on that, bro, it was, you're talking about why it's important, right, for a buyer, for you to understand your numbers for a buyer, right? Just in case a buyer tries to tell you, I can't pay this, and show you why they need to pay less, right? But on the other side, right, you may be leaving money on the table if you don't know how to run your numbers as well. My very first deal, I think I told this story on here where I made a good amount of money. I made $12K on my first deal, but the buyer, he literally he painted the walls and put floors down in one of the units in a triplex, and he put it back on the market. And within 2 weeks, made over $100,000 in the property, right? And I left so much money on the table because I had no clue what I was doing. This dude took me out to lunch, showed me the HUD, like after he closed, and he was like, "Look how much money you made me." So if you don't know your numbers, I promise you're most likely leaving a lot of money on the table as well.
You know what's funny, Daryl? I did the same thing with the very first deal I sold, right? Because I just didn't understand. My buyer is happy making anywhere from 15 to 25% ROI. I sold him a deal where he was getting about a 57% ROI, which means there was a lot more room for me to have gotten a better assignment. And only if I had understood this, because what happens is we get scared, right? When you're new and you're selling a deal, you're just hoping anybody will buy it. But if
I'm
you're
just trying to make that 10 grand, bro.
Yep.
Right. If you understand what you're doing,
10 grand before, it's a wrap.
So when you understand what you're doing, you can now actually sell your product. You can sell your product with confidence, and you could do it in a way where your buyers respect you. Your buyers want to do business with you. You and your buyers are laughing. Hey, man, you made so much money off me. Yeah, man. But, I gave you a good deal, right? Yeah, you did. You did.
Yep. Think about it this way. Do you want to approach a buyer and ask him, hey, man, what do you think about this deal? Would you buy it? Or would you like, hey, I got a deal for you that you're going to make $30,000 minimum on this deal? What do you think the buyer's going to respect more?
It's a game changer.
Yep.
Now, Alex asked, is the rule of 72 assuming compound interest? Alex, that's a phenomenal question. I don't know the answer. So I would actually look that up and Google it. I just know this is the money doubling rule. So this rule is a simple way of gauging the approximate time it will take for your money to double based off of the interest or based off of the return, the percent, the ROI that you're getting on your investment. So do we feel like we now have a better understanding of ROIs and how we're looking at deals and why we're looking at deals a certain way? Because next week, I want us to come in here and I want us to actually pull out some HUDs. I want to actually show you the ins and outs of a deal. I want to show you the closing costs. I want to show you all the hard costs that, when we just don't know. We don't know about until we do a deal. I want to show that to everybody first.
Marlon, I have a question for you about that. I mean, if we come out and show HUDs, can we do like a really high level deal, like a dope maybe creative finance deal? Would that be okay?
Bro, I'm so game for that because that's the beautiful thing, right? With these creative finance deals, we can really structure deals and make properties that wouldn't work extremely well. We can make a lot of cool things happen. We can solve a lot of problems, and we can make incredible returns by being able to structure proper deals. So I'm cool with us bringing in a pretty high level creative deal. Like, would people drop some fire in the chat if you want us to break down a creative deal that would be pretty high level? So, and when we're talking high level, what are we talking about? Can we give them like a little teaser?
Oh, I mean, creative finance. I mean, there's three major forms of creative finance, right? There's subject to, which is taking over an existing mortgage, right? Making the payments on it. Then there's seller finance, which is basically the exact opposite. It's creating a new loan, right? A new note and making payments on that. And then there's this beautiful thing, and it's my personal favorite. It's actually a combination of both. You have half sub 2, you have half seller finance. You know, they do the fusion dance from Dragon Ball Z, right? They come together, and then exactly just like that. And then we call those things a hybrid. I mean, if it's cool with you guys, I mean, I've done a few amazing hybrid deals. I dig them. They get me going. Would you guys be cool with us maybe doing a breakdown of a badass hybrid deal?
That'll be dope. That'll be
Let's
dope.
make it happen.
All right, cool. So then, I mean, oh man, that means I got to go dig up some HUDs. We're gonna show you guys the property. You guys want to see the property? Say yes if you guys put yes in the chat if you guys want to see that property. We'll go ahead and show you everything about it, from the HUDs to the mortgage statement to hell, even the privately held note between me and the seller.
Ooh. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy, Sam? I'm excited for this, man. You're getting me all juiced up, bro. Because right now we're working on, you know, I don't even know if I should announce it yet. Like, you know, we talk to the family right here. Because right now we're working on a crazy dope deal, just like what you're describing out here. Right. And bro, I'm excited for this one. Like I'm gonna send you guys some pictures. Like I'll text you guys some pictures later of this property. Sam, people want to see this, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got enough people saying yes. Let's do it. And it's one of those amazing things, right? Guys, I challenge you. There's probably only maybe between one to three other people in this industry who go live on YouTube consistently who'd actually show you that stuff. And I'm just gonna put this out there, man, because I'm at a point where, you know, a few of you guys and I have talked about this. I'm at a point where I'm sick of all the other influencers, and they can't show HUDs, they can't show settlement statements, they can't show privately held notes, they can't do any of that. Why? Because they're not doing it. So, guys, new rule for everyone here. Right, I'm gonna quote my good friend Caroline King.
We got
what did she say? Oh, look at that!
we got HUDs, baby.
This guy. You know what I love about Marlon, guys, is that Marlon actually he will sleep with the HUDs underneath his pillow, because that's how freaking that's how many deals he did. That's how many deals he did.
My bed firm.
But I'm gonna quote, you know, I think a good friend of all of ours from the Daily Dial. Her name is Caroline Kane, right? They don't have HUDs, they're a dud. So let's do it next week. We're not gonna do subject to. We're not gonna do seller finance. Hell no, we're gonna do both.
Yo, can I just say for a moment, like I don't know if you guys are only following my YouTube channel and you don't know Sam Singh, like you are sleeping under a rock. I think Sam is probably one of the most intelligent people I know, and he's one of the highest level operators I've seen. His trajectory is insane, and the fact that you come onto this channel, like, and you come onto this podcast with us, and you start teaching people. I mean, like what you give away and like what we're going to be giving away on this podcast is probably $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 worth of mentorship, right? It's just this education. Like we all paid a lot in financial and then also just in School of Hard Knocks. And I freaking love it. Like you guys are awesome. I'm so happy that I can get together with other people that are just like, yo, let's give it away to people. Let's pour it on people like nobody's business.
Dude, I love that. I mean, it's one of those things, guys, where I think all of us, you know, guys, let me know. Let me know. Have you guys ever lost money on a deal? You guys ever lost money marketing? You guys ever had a deal go south because you overlooked some small shit? 100%. I have. I've lost deals. I've lost money on deals. I've lost money on marketing. I've actually invested multiple six figures into marketing. And guess what? We do that so we can learn and we can get better, right? We can become amazing freaking investors. But so then we can go and start freaking dope ass podcasts like this and go ahead and freaking just keep doing them and keep showing you guys. So we're going to go ahead and keep filling. We're going to keep, you know, filling forward, but filling forward for you guys. So let's do this. I think next week, we're going to go ahead and freaking Daryl. We're going to go ahead and do a breakdown of not a sub two, not a seller finance, a hybrid deal. Tell you what, let's do. Ooh, I've got multiple. Let's do a. Ooh, What markets do you guys like?
Bro, I mean,
Texas. I like Georgia. I like Florida. I like Nevada. You know, Nevada's becoming my new favorite. It's one of my new favorites. It's right up there. I think Daryl is actually buying a deal up in Clark County, Nevada too. You know what? Tell you what. Let's go ahead and do Nevada. Tell you what, guys, we're gonna do a breakdown on a deal in Henderson, Nevada next week. Bro, Daryl, I mean, should we do that or no?
Let's do it.
All right.
What if
Fair
we
enough.
go? What if we go a couple weeks just breaking different types of deals down, back to back to back?
ooh, would people find that valuable? Would people like that if we broke down creative deals, if we broke down cash deals, if we
Mhm.
broke down guys, like I got deals that are like interesting. I've got deals that I have literally no money in at
Ooh.
all that have paid me, upward of $70,000 to keep to hold. Like I got paid to buy. Like I used to hear people say like they got paid to buy a property, and I was like, what does that mean? And then it happened. I was like, whoa, I got paid to buy a property.
Dude, that is the biggest flex out there. You got paid, like you made money
I
to buy
made
a house. You got a
I
house and some money.
I made money buying a house. I bought a house that pays me every month, and I got paid to buy it.
Time out. There's other ways to buy houses other than getting paid to buy them.
Apparently, bro. Like I don't want to say bigger pockets.
I've got
teaching
paid for
people.
everyone that I bought.
So yeah, I think if the people want that, we should do that. So I mean, I'm gonna have to. What we'd have to do to make that happen is first off, people, if you're getting value from this, you'd have to go right now, and I need you to go and subscribe to Alejandro's channel. I need you to subscribe to Daryl's channel, to Sam's channel, and to my channel. I need right now for you to take a screenshot tagging the four of us on Instagram. Hey, kid it with cheese. I need you to take that screenshot. I want to see
Imagine no
that
one
picture
took a picture.
exactly. If it's not that picture, it's got to be that
It's
picture.
got to be that one. I'll pose one more time.
Just rewind it real quick.
So you gotta tag that. And once we see, if I see at least 20 of those tags, then we'll start breaking down some deals. We'll start bringing our HUDs, right? Because it's, I gotta be honest, y'all. We buy properties in our LLCs. We keep our LLCs anonymous so that we never have to worry about things coming back on us. So showing you our HUDs is actually jeopardizing the safety of our tax and asset protection. However, it would bring you value to see it. So if we're going to be doing that, I got to ask for something in exchange. So I'm not going to ask for your money, not today, right? I'm going to ask for your love and your support by helping us grow this channel so that we can help as many other people. Because if you're getting value here, you've got to pass the value on. So I think that sounds fair, y'all. Does that sound like a fair trade?
That's a fair trade.
Oh, I love it. So this has been a fun episode. Also, real quick, while we're here, guys, I get excited. I'm hanging out with my buddies right now. I'm hanging out with my friends. Alejandro, bro, that video that you dropped yesterday. If y'all haven't checked out Alejandro's YouTube channel, real talk, that video you dropped yesterday on how to find cash buyers for free was I watched the whole thing, bro, and it wasn't just to support you. It really wasn't. I found myself actually listening and learning and saying, wow, this is so freaking good. If you do not know how to find cash buyers, not only did Alejandro explain it, he did it live in his video, and the production quality, bro, my YouTube is missing the Alejandro touch. It's missing the Alejandro touch. I got to hire your design company.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was, I mean, it was a freaking flex, dude. I went through it. You may have been taking notes on how to find buyers. I was taking notes. All right, 30 seconds in, there's a little badass transition on the bottom left. I gotta figure out how we do that. 100%, guys. And can we talk about the fact that was his first official YouTube video? I mean, god damn. I love it when my friends push me, but I also hate it when they set the bar stupid freaking high and I have to kind of raise up. So Alejandro, dude, congratulations on that, man. That video was a freaking banger for a first one, especially. Damn.
Thank you.
Damn.
Thank you. First, I want to thank my mom. I want to I want to thank you guys, the production, everyone behind it. Thank you. 3 free ways to find cash buyers, man. There's no excuses. You don't need funds to find cash buyers. People are like, do you guys have buyers? And just pick up the phone and start dialing.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, that's gonna be like the tagline of this podcast soon,
Yo.
right? Like, shout out to Leo DiCaprio, shout out to Wolf of Wall Street for that. But guys, if you go and watch Alejandro's video, don't just watch it. Don't just do that. It's not enough, right? Because it was a banger of a video. I think like did one of you guys, I think one of you guys may have sent that video to your own dispo manager.
I did.
To give them a freaking training on how to dispo a property. So, I mean, like, there you go, guys. We're actually implementing. We took Alejandro's free YouTube video, using it in our own businesses to make sure it works. So don't just watch it, right? Don't just watch it. Make sure you are subscribed to Alejandro because he's going to freaking skyrocket on YouTube in a matter of probably a few weeks to a few months at least. And then it'll be dope as hell to be able to say that, hey, you are one of his first early subscribers. That is a pretty beautiful thing to say. And I know Alejandro, he's a man of incredible loyalty, so he'll always love you back for that. But then also go ahead and share it, right? Go ahead and take that link, throw it on Instagram, because guess what? There are people out here who do not know how to find cash buyers. And they wonder, they have a deal. They've got an assignment. They've got a deal, like a wholesale contract. And then they just don't know how to find a cash buyer. They think you have to have like tons of fancy systems, and maybe they don't know how to talk to a realtor. Alejandro, did you speak to a realtor at all on that?
Yeah, I spoke with a realtor. That was the first free way to find a cash buyer.
So you showed them, you didn't tell them what to do. You picked up the phone and you started dialing.
Indeed. Yes, I did.
God, dang. So guys, go watch it. Give my man a sub. In fact, make sure
let me leave the
sub
link
to
here.
Marlon. Yes, go make sure you sub to Daryl. Share their stuff, because I promise you, there's not going to be many people in this industry who are going to give out as much value as these guys do. Boys, it is a freaking honor to be here with you guys. You guys are amazing.
Bro, we freaking love you. Dang, this is fun. So I feel like we gave them some value tonight. Guys, make sure you go and sub to Alejandro. And Alejandro, we got to get you to that 1,000 mark so we could change the back end of your youtube.com. So it's youtube.com/ it's really Alvarez, right? And,
you can find it that way.
Oh, dang. Make that happen, bro.
Yeah.
I texted some people at YouTube telling them, yo, I'm coming in with the heat. Let me get that ad. Come on, man. So they let me slide this time.
So go ahead and right there, I would screenshot that so you can go ahead and find that later. So you've got Sam's YouTube if you don't have it already. Boom. We got Alejandro's YouTube right there, youtube.com/ it's really Alvarez. Yo, Daryl, where's yours at, bro? We got to let them know. We got mine right there, youtube.com/ Marlon Johnson. Be on the lookout because that's going to change to youtube.com/ mindset Marlon.
Need that, bro.
Also, shout out to everybody that helped me get to 1,000 subscribers this past month. And Daryl Ellison, youtube.com/ Daryl Ellison. So y'all already know what to do. Click that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so that you are updated for every new episode happening Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Arizona time. And be here next week when we actually do a deal breakdown using real numbers. You're going to see a real deal done by real operators in real freaking time.
That's fire, guys. That's fire.
Love
All
it.
right, guys. That was it for the Think Big podcast. We will see you next week.